With training camp right around the corner, several very bold claims have just been made about the Philadelphia Eagles, from one of their rookies being labeled as a potential day one star, to a prediction that the Eagles could sign an unexpected defender to a big extension very soon, and a claim that the Eagles offense could be even better this year than it was last year. So in this video, I'll break all of that down. Plus, the Eagles may also have a couple big advantages over their NFC competitors, and the latest big news they just got only adds to that. So again, I'm going to talk about all that and more starting right now. Throughout the past few months of the NFL offseason, there's been this idea floating around that the Eagles offense could actually improve and be better in 2025 than it was last season. I mean, I've said it, some Eagles players have alluded to it, and people in the media have said it as well, recently including some of the hosts of 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good as this Eagles offense was last year, they were good. In the postseason, they were unbelievable. In the Super Bowl, they were incredible. But can they actually be better in 2025 than they were last season? And I think the scary thing is, yes, I think they're going to be better this coming season than they were last year on offense.
Now, obviously, to say that the Eagles offense is going to be better this year than it was last year is kind of a bold claim, just considering that Philly's offense was already one of the best in the entire NFL last season. I mean, Saquon Barkley and the run game were obviously historic. Jalen Hurts in the pass game stepped up when they needed to, and ultimately, we all know it ended in a Super Bowl victory. So when you put it like that, to say that the Birds' offense is going to improve next season does sound a little bit unrealistic. However, when you take a step back and just look at the numbers, it's clear that the Eagles offense still does actually have a lot of room to grow, and I'll get to that in a second, but first, quick announcement. I'm going to be away on vacation from July 12th to the 20th, so I likely won't have any videos during that time, but right after that, training camp starts up, so I'm going to have a ton of stuff, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that, and now I'll throw it over to the guys at 97.5.
When you hear prominent figures like Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown mention the word evolve. The offense needs to evolve. Well, when you look at it, it certainly isn't the running game that needs to evolve. It's the passing game. And I'm not suggesting that they're going to be this pass-heavy team, right? I think they're going to have to be a more balanced team to take this offense to the next level. And when you have someone like Kevin Patullo, who oversaw the passing game last year, well, now he's in a different position. So I think you see things through a different lens, and you're able to kind of accent what the personnel does best. And I think this is where you're going to see some different alterations.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers here. So they finished 8th in terms of yards per game and 7th in terms of points per game last year. You go back to the 2022 season, they were top 3 in both. This offense, on paper, should be better than that 2022 offense. If you look around at all the other positions, and there's no reason to believe that you won't get either equal to or above what you got in 22.
So again, based off that, it's clear that the Eagles offense has a lot of room to grow, especially in the passing game. And they didn't say the number there, but just for reference, the Birds were 30th in pass yards last year, which sure, was largely by design. But again, definitely a lot of room to grow there. And there's no question that they have the talent to do it. I mean, their quarterback is a multiple-time Pro Bowler, MVP candidate, and Super Bowl MVP. Their running back arguably just had the greatest single season for a running back in NFL history, and he's just one part of an Eagles skill position group that was recently ranked number 1 in the entire league by ESPN. And I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with that. Like, come on, you got Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson, Grant Calcaterra. Like, they're just absolutely stacked. And same goes for the Birds' offensive line, which were also recently ranked number 1 in the league by PFF. So again, there is absolutely no question that they have all the talent that they need to get better next year. Now, the one question mark is obviously offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, but I like the fact that he's already got familiarity with the players and knows their strengths since he's been here for 4 years already, and everything that we've heard about him so far since he became the OC has been overwhelmingly positive. And overall, the fact that the offense is going to be very similar and they have 10 of 11 starters returning next season is just absolutely huge, because that continuity sets them up perfectly to build on last year and take that next step forward. So again, I truly do believe that this Eagles offense can improve next year, but what do you guys think? Do you expect improvement from the Eagles offense in 2025? Give me all your thoughts down in the comments below. Moving on though, that isn't the only bold claim that has been made about the Eagles in the weeks leading up to training camp. As actually, an article was just released by Brent Sobleski of Bleacher Report, where he went over 6 rookies around the NFL that have the potential to be more exciting than Jaguars rookie wide receiver / cornerback Travis Hunter this season. who of course, after being picked second overall and winning the Heisman last year, has a ton of hype coming into his rookie season. So it was definitely awesome to see one of the Birds' most exciting draft picks make an appearance on this list, that being the second-round safety out of Texas in Andrew Mukuba. As Sablinski cited the Birds' recent success when it comes to taking defensive backs early in the draft, well, he also went on to rave about Mukuba's ability and potential, saying, quote, "Mukuba thrives when the ball's in front of him. As the safety sees the play develop, he quickly triggers. His 5 interceptions tied for the most in the SEC last season, alongside Texas teammate Jahdae Barron, who took home the Jim Thorpe Award. The 22-year-old flies up to stop the run as well. He's under 190 pounds with some concerns over missed tackles, but the willingness is definitely present. These playmaking skills should be perfect working along the Eagles' back line." Plus, on top of that, he also noted how Mukuba has impressed during the spring in things like OTAs and minicamp, even earning the praise of star wide receiver DeVonta Smith just a few weeks ago.
Any rookie that has stood out to you during the OTAs and the
The guy from was it Texas, the safety.
Mukuba.
Yeah. I couldn't say his name. So.
Everything we've heard about Mukuba, really since the Birds drafted him back in April, has been overwhelmingly positive, so the fact that he was included here on this list of players that could be more exciting than Travis Hunter this year definitely only adds to the hype. And hypothetically, let's just say that Mukuba lives up to it, right? Like, he goes on to win the starting safety job in training camp, and he immediately becomes a bright young star on Philly's defense, similar to Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean last year. Then that would solve arguably the Eagles' biggest problem, and I actually talked about this a lot more in depth in a recent video, so I won't ramble on too much about it here, and you should definitely check that out after this video. But yeah, obviously, safety's a big question mark for the Birds right now, so Mukuba immediately becoming a star like the article is suggesting that he could would get rid of any concern there. Now, will he do that? That remains to be seen, but I definitely think he has a shot, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But again, I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts. Like, give me your expectations for Andrew Mukuba in his rookie season down in the comments below. Moving on to yet another bold claim though, we switch our focus to defensive tackle Jordan Davis, as this offseason there's obviously been a lot going on with JD. First, it was whether or not the Eagles were going to pick up his 5th-year option for the 2026 season, and of course they did end up picking it up for $12.9 million late in April, and then shortly after that, the Eagles got out on the field for OTAs and minicamp, and Davis was actually one of the guys who made the most noise, as not only did he impress during several practices, including sacking Jalen Hurts and frustrating All-Pro left tackle Jordan Mailata at times, but defensive coordinator Vic Fangio also revealed that not only is JD now currently in the best shape of his entire life, but Fangio also said that after the way he played down the stretch of last season and with what he's shown in practice, he feels like Davis is set to take another step forward in his game, specifically as a pass rusher. So combine that with the fact that he's set to take on a bigger role this year, and there's obviously a lot of hype surrounding Jordan Davis right now, and that's even led some people to thinking that Davis could potentially secure himself a big long-term contract extension with the Eagles after this season. As writer Kevin Knight of Bleeding Green Nation recently projected that if Davis has a solid year, he could earn a 3-year, $51 million extension from the Birds, which would put him as the 17th highest paid defensive tackle in the entire league. Now, personally, I have mixed feelings about this. I mean, on one hand, I really do like Jordan Davis. I think he's great for the role that he's in, just being that run-stuffing monster in the middle of the Birds' defensive line. He's super valuable in the sense that he just takes up so much space and eats up blockers, which then frees up the linebackers to go make plays. And again, like Fangio said, he's also improving as a pass rusher. And on top of that, I just think he's a great locker room and culture guy, so I'd love for the Birds to keep him around for as long as possible. That said, you just can't pay everybody, and $17 million a year seems like an awful lot for a guy who I think is great in his role, but isn't necessarily a star. And the Eagles have other guys who they still have to pay, including fellow defensive tackle Jalen Carter, who's going to get like $35 to $40 million a season, and they have a bunch of other big contracts on the books as well. So maybe my opinion will change after this season, but as of now, I just don't see the Eagles giving Davis that contract, but you know, we'll see. And again, I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on this down in the comments below. Moving on though, the Eagles can at least be grateful that they're not stuck dealing with any contract-related drama heading into training camp this year, which is something that a couple of their NFC East rivals can't say for themselves. And specifically, I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. As in regards to Dallas, they still have yet to pay their best player and franchise cornerstone in pass rusher Micah Parsons, which is pretty notable considering that not only is he going into the last year of his contract, but when he is extended, he's set to earn over $40 million a season, which of course is going to significantly affect what the Cowboys can do in regards to building the rest of the roster in the future. And the longer they wait to extend him, the harder this gets for the Cowboys. Now, the good news for them is that Parsons has not threatened to hold out. He was present at mandatory minicamp and confirmed that he would be out there at training camp, but still, it's a looming situation that could go south and is surely on the mind of all Cowboys fans right now. Switching over to the Commanders, though, their situation is definitely worse, as for them, it's star wide receiver Terry McLaurin that is due a big payday, likely somewhere in the $30 million a year range, as like Parsons, he's set to go into the last year of his current contract. However, unlike Parsons, McLaurin is actively holding out, as he was not present at OTAs or mandatory minicamp, despite taking on fines of $100,000. And he's not expected to appear at training camp either unless this situation is resolved before then. So for a team that has championship aspirations and is expected to be one of the Eagles' main competitors in the NFC East and just the NFC in general, this is definitely not a good look, nor is it a good situation or start to the season for them. And I think in that way, the Eagles really have an early advantage over both their division rivals because in addition to obviously being Super Bowl champs and all that, they're also not currently dealing with any real offseason drama going into training camp. But that's not the only advantage that the Eagles got in the NFC recently, as of course, the Birds' most difficult opponent over these past several seasons and really throughout the entire Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni era has been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And once again, these two NFC playoff contenders are set to clash early in the season, that being specifically in Week 4 down in Tampa Bay. But again, like I said, it seems like the Birds could have an advantage for that matchup, as a recent report came out from Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times saying that all-pro tackle Tristan Wirfs is likely to begin the season on the physically unable to perform list, or PUP list for short. And this means that he would be out for the first 4 games of the season, including, of course, Tampa Bay's matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles. And while it sucks that Wirfs still hasn't fully healed from his injury, for the Eagles, it's definitely a big break for them that the Bucs' best player likely won't be available for that matchup. And for an Eagles pass rush that'll still likely just be figuring things out a bit, the opportunity to go up against a backup tackle could be big. So again, I think that's definitely a big advantage for the Birds for that game. However, that's still way off in the distant future, and just right now, we got to worry about training camp, as of course, that's going to be here before we know it. So if you guys don't want to miss any coverage, content, or videos coming during that time, then make sure you subscribe and you turn on notifications. Trust me, I got a bunch of stuff coming and you're not going to want to miss it. So again, subscribe, turn on notifications, and also drop a like below on this video because it really does help me out a ton, guys. Let's see if we can get to at least 500 likes today. And also leave a comment down below just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. Do you think the Eagles would even consider that extension for Jordan Davis? Do you think that Andrew Mukuba could live up to the hype of that article? Again, just give me your thoughts down in the comments below. Remember, guys, I'm going to be on vacation for about the next week or so, so probably no videos there. Just want to take a little bit of a break before we get back into the madness of this next season. But, you know, again, when I get back, it's going to be full speed ahead. So stay tuned for that. And if you do want to watch another Eagles video, then you can check this one out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.